Happy BookTubeAthon Day 7! We did it! We finished the BookTubeAthon! Yay! I am so happy that I've made 7 videos in 7 days where I filmed and edited and uploaded in real time. I am very proud of myself. I do not know the next time this will ever happen again, to be honest. But I'm so happy I got to participate in this community-wide thing. It was really great. It's been so long since I've done something like this. Okay, so let's do a quick wrap up before we get into the challenge, because I am proud to say that the amount of books I read was 7. The amount of pages was 1,221, and that includes the 64 pages I read of The Magician's Land, my 8th book. And the amount of reading challenges I completed was 7 as well. Book 1 that I read was The Journey by Francesca Sanna. Now this counted for the challenge of flip a coin to pick your first book. It was this one. It also is this beautiful spine challenge. Next I read Marcel by Ida Alcatoon. I also counted this for the beautiful book spine challenge. Then I read Jim Henson's Return to Labyrinth, book number 4, published by Tokyopop, story by Jack T. Forbes, art by Chris Lai, and cover art by Kyoko Shiri. This counted for the challenge of book to movie adaptation and the color green on the cover. Next I read number 5 of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon by Naoko Takeuchi. And then directly after that I read book 6 of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. Then I read Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This counted for the challenge of read a book that has something in it that you want to do, which for me was love and protect my family. And then I read Frey by Josh Speeden, Carl Malone, and Andy Owens. This was for the challenge of wear a hat while reading a book. I wore my baseball cap, Monsters University, for the entire day, actually, because I read this in a day. I read a lot of the books in a day. There was no book that it took me more than a day to read, because they were all graphic novels, mangas, and children's books. Super chill. Super chill. It's very relaxed, very chill BookTubeAthon. So for today's challenge is talk about your favorite book of all time. Now, I've had different favorite books throughout the years, and a lot of them happen to be series. So I started off reading the series Babysitter's Club, Little Sister. After that, I got into Animorphs. Then after Animorphs, I was reading the Redwall series for a while. That brings us up to high school, and the author, Francesca Leah Block. I really was into her Weetzie Bat series. It's a series of 5 books. Together I have them in one volume called Dangerous Angels, and that was my favorite book for a while until I read The Lord of the Rings. Yes, I'm a Lord of the Rings girl. Now, I read The Hobbit in junior high, but it wasn't quite enough to make me instantly pick up The Lord of the Rings directly after. It didn't take until the second half of high school, when the films were being announced that they were going to come out, and I was interested, and I decided I was going to read the books, or I was going to attempt to read the books before I watched the movie. Now, my dad had actually read these books over and over again in his youth, but he never had actually read them to me. He kind of let me find them and discover them on my own, even if it was through the fact that there were movies going to be made, and I wanted to read the book before the movie. And I managed to do that with the first book. I read The Fellowship before I saw the film, and then I read The Two Towers and Return of the King directly after I saw the Fellowship movie. And I don't know, I really loved these books. I like fantasy that goes really deep into the mythology and the worlds, the maps. I love a good fantasy map. Family trees, that's another thing I absolutely love. I love an extensive family tree. You see who's the son of this person and the daughter of that, and all the ways things connect, and I absolutely adore things like that. A lot of people say that these books are really slow and that they spend so much time describing the trees and the forest, and they spend chapters just walking around and nothing happens. But I really love those chapters. I really love the sort of side quests that go on, and you know, I'm a Tom Bombadil fan, by the way. You know, up until I read these books, I don't think I had read fantasy that wasn't either YA, middle grade, or children's, and I think that definitely made an impact, that I saw this as something that was deeper and something that was just more and had more to it that will always stick with me. It counts as one book, even though they're three, because originally Tolkien wanted it to be published as one volume, but the publisher was like, no, it's got to be 3 different books. So I'd consider it one book, personally. I remember when I got to the end of the Two Towers, I was so terrified for Sam and Frodo that I immediately picked up Return of the King, because I had to find out what happened to them. I was so convinced that they weren't going to survive, or that Sam was going to sacrifice his life for Frodo, and I was really, really, really worried, because Sam is my favorite character, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and I had to find out. This has been so much fun. I'm so going to wish you happy reading. Just because the readathon is over does not mean that it's time to stop reading books. Gotta keep reading. I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to freaking finish The Magician's Land and read so many more books that are on my TBR. I'm going to unhaul a lot of my books. I'm going to go to my library. It's going to be a great rest of the year. I love community projects like this. Thanks for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you in my next video. Meow.